All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? Let's wait 5 minutes and then we'll get right into it. Let me post on Discord that we are live. There we go. And we'll wait about 5 minutes here and then we'll get right into it. Brad, good morning, my man. How you doing? All right. Top of the day to you, Skipper. Good morning, Iffy. Mr. Needham, good morning. Eric, good morning, good morning, good morning. Blitz Garage, good morning, my man. G5, what's going on, brother? Welcome back from vacation, and good morning to you, good sir. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning, and you're ready to get started with this wonderful market that we're in. Ganesh, good morning. So we'll wait till 8:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll get going then. Just gonna give some people some time to get in here. Vishnu, good morning. Mark, good morning. Sky, good morning. People will slowly trickle in here. Lexman, good morning. Sohrab, good morning. Let's go. All right, 2 more minutes here. And then we'll get right into it. Ah, nice. Ganesh, now I know who you are. Hope we have some action in the market at least today. Yes, sir. Daniel, good morning. Edgar, I'm here. We can start now. Good morning. Got 1 more minute and then we'll get it kicked off. As usual with the market cues. And we'll get into questions right after that. So you guys can ask me some questions you guys have about a few tickers. And we'll take it from there. All right. Let's see where we at. All right. A few more seconds. G5, you are the man, my friend. Mufada is ludicrous. What's poppin'? Luda. It's Luda. All right. What time is it? 8:35 a.m. Perfect. Okay, guys. So let's get right into it. Obviously, we start off with the SPY, and we'll do that just as well today. All right, guys. So what are we seeing? We're seeing very tight, very range-bound action, but again, slowly starting to move higher. Okay, volume is nothing really there that, raises eyebrows, says, oh my God, we have good volume on the upside or the downside. it's just very choppy action. You can clearly see that 1, 2, 3 last 4 days. However, we did make a new high yesterday. We broke above this 443 level, and currently in the pre-market we're sitting right around that 443.69, 443.70 area. All right. One key thing we need to do here, okay, we need to get volume and we need to get going here. If we don't, the people who keep buying at these levels are going to get exhausted and we're going to roll over, which is also fine. Pulling back creates volatility. Pullbacks create opportunities, and that is absolutely fine as well. Okay, now let's take a look at the intraday levels on this, and I'll tell you guys exactly what we're looking at here. Okay, so I'm going to put my drawings back in, go right into the 15-minute time frame, and what do we got? Right, so yesterday, clearly we see this resistance level at 444. All right, we popped up to it, hit it, rejected, and here we are again finding resistance at that 444 level, right? So that 444 level is going to be the level we need to monitor today. All right, so we either need to break above this with significant strength, that way we can push higher towards that 444.53, right? And then over that, we're going to see a push to the 445 level. Okay, now the 445 level, this is where it's going to get interesting. We could get a push up here. Things could move up slightly here. But until we either break above this with significant strength or some consolidation to take place under it, so we build enough volume to continue to take it higher, we need that consolidation, that breakout and retest, that volume to come in order to push us higher over this level. All right. If that does happen, we could see a massive move, not a massive move, a good significant move to the 447, and we'll be done with it. This range from 444 to 447 is nothing we haven't seen before, right? If we go back to the daily chart, there is days where we have a movement from 424 to 432. So it's a pretty average move if it does happen. The issue right now remains that there is not significant volume in the market right now. We're not getting those massive buys at the opens. We're not getting those breakouts. Breakout trades are getting stuffed. They're being choppy. They're being bouncing around. So we need that volume to come in to confirm over this 445.50 area to push us towards that 447. All right. Now, again, the market is a bunch of if statements. Now, what if we don't break above this 444 and we reject, or we pop up slightly and we come back under it? Well, obviously the next area that we're looking at is going to be that 442 area, that 442.76 area, right? We can pull right into that, and then 442.40 will be our next area of support, and then under that we're looking at 441.20. All right. This area should hold. It's been holding for very good support. So have eyes on that level. And if we do get a significant pull, I think that 441.20 area will hold for the day being. All right. Now let's take a look at the Qs and where we're standing with the Qs overall. So the Qs obviously more range bound in it, but they're going to the downside. So we do see tech showing weakness as we're kind of pulling back into that 20-day moving average. All right. The same story kind of is happening today as well. We come into the 15-minute time frame, we're kind of popping back up, but again, that main level to watch is going to be this 366 level, this 366.50 level, right? We need to kind of break above that, hold in order to continue higher. That 366.50 level, which is clear resistance yesterday, clear resistance this morning. If we could get above that, then we can see a move towards that 367.20. And then 368. All right. Obviously, we would need to see some strength to push it back up to this 368.84, but lots of resistance overhead, right? So we're not going to get a clean, fluid move. There's lots of people who are still, buying tech, who are trying to overnight these things, and they're just waking up and they're opening lower. So every time we get a pop, we might get a sell-off on these, and that's why we're getting some selling pressure on the Qs. But again, the levels to monitor over the 366.50 pushes us to 367.80 and then 368, as we can see prior support turned to resistance yesterday morning. Okay. Now on the downside, right, if we reject that 366, right, we can see a pull down to the 365.49. Lose that, we come right down to the 364 level, and then lose that, we're looking at 362. Right, we're not going to get much of a pull further past that. We can see the 362.76 level. If we go to the daily, let's take a look at where the moving averages are falling on. So the 364.50 level is your moving average on the downside on the Qs, right? If we do lose that, we do have support at that 362 level, which happens to line up with the 362 that we have drawn right here, 362.76, right? So that's it for today. This 360, above that, we're looking at a move towards 368-ish, and below the 365, we're looking at a move to possibly 364. More selling comes in 362. Ideally, guys, the situation here is we need to get some sort of a move, some sort of some powerful move one way or the other. And for me, it doesn't matter which way it goes. Whether it's going to go to the upside, so be it. Then we trade stocks, you know, on the long side, on the call side. Now, if we pull, then that's fine as well. We'll trade it on the downside. There's always going to be something that we're going to be able to trade, and with, you know, volatility to the downside creates opportunity, and we'll be able to find tickers or stocks that we can trade with at least some range now, right? When we get range in the market overall, we'll get range in certain stocks as well, which will create opportunity for us to make some money in. Now, with that said, I think the jobs report number did come out. It was pretty flat. But if you guys have any tickers you want me to go over, go ahead and let me know. Smash it in the chat room here, and I'll go over them with you guys. Couple of stocks that kind of interesting this morning. One of them, Sono, had a beat on earnings, I believe. Interesting stock. Popped up to that 38 level, and it's holding that 38 level very well. Has room towards that 40 on the daily. Another one, Clove, getting some momentum here and pushing significantly here, going to that 998 level on an earnings report, and probably squeezing some shorts here. 998 on the daily is the next pivot up, and above that, it's probably going to go around to 1045, 1050. All right. Another interesting one was Open. Take a look at the 5-minute chart on it. And another massive earnings report beat, shot up to $18, showing some weakness here. Under that 1670, it could very easily roll over, and under the 1750, it could easily test that $18, 1860 level. All right, so go ahead with your questions. I'll look in the chat and see what you guys got in mind, and we'll go over it. And as always, if you guys are here, go ahead and smash the like button. I will greatly appreciate it. And yeah, I'll get right into it. Long term for SoFi. So let's take a look at SoFi. Again, anyone that is interested in investing in any stocks long term, you really need to understand the financials, the balance sheet, the company outlook, what they got going on in the future, who they're working with, what they're working with, and are they something that you believe in the future, and does the company itself believe in that there is a future, right? Then you got to read those earning reports, those financial calls that they go on, and really understand what the company's thinking going forward. And once you do that, once you understand that, then sure, you can start a long-term position. What do we got here? We have nice basing at around the 1450, right? So maybe you want to wait for a pullback towards that 1450 to start a position here, maybe 1/4 of your position, and give it room to balance out. If it does lose the 1450, it really does open it up to 13. Maybe you can add there again. Or, if it doesn't ever lose that 1450, you can wait for a breakout above that 18 to kind of add to your position to get a nice average for that run back up to the 2447, right? For me personally, I haven't done the research on SoFi. I can't tell you if it's long-term or short-term. But if a day trade or a swing trade pattern presents itself, I will take it and I will trade it. MU is the next one you guys are asking about. So, it does look good here. My only concern with this right now is that, we lost that 200-day moving average again, and we have two massive red volumes here, okay? what do we need to do? We really need to hold this 73.60, 73.50 level on it, right? If you want to start something on the long term on this, you could start a position here at these levels with the opportunity to add at 68 and 58. If you're looking for a shorter term trade, I don't have a pattern on this. This is 3 days of a downtrend. If you were to just buy calls here, you're trying to catch a stock on a downtrend momentum. It's not going to be your best bet. You need to wait for some sort of consolidation and for a reversal to form in order for you to take it on the long side. Otherwise, if we lose 73.62, we can very easily come down to the 72 and opens it back up to this area right here, which is this 69.70 area, 69.20 area, right? Then you lose that, you're really getting in trouble and coming down to the 64.50. So have a plan, wait for a pattern in the short term, nothing in the long term. You can start small. Please review DD and Momo. DD, not much here. Brand new chart. To be honest, I don't know what this company does. Haven't looked into it. Under the very short term moving average, and it's clearly acting as resistance. It's rolling over here. Could very easily retest that 716 before bouncing back up and trying to retrack. Nothing in the short term. Not interested in this ticker at all. Momo. So another name that's been kind of getting beaten down with these Chinese names, I believe. I believe Momo is a Chinese company. I could be totally wrong. Maybe it's Italian. Anyways, under that support of that 1320 area, pulling down and using the 20-day moving average here as resistance, right? This is why I talk about these moving averages so often. When we get a significant move to one way or the other, they start acting as support and resistance. And currently, it's acting as resistance. If it rolls over under that 1210 level, it could very easily fall down towards the 1170. Now, what do we need for this to kind of track back? We need to crack back above that 1330 level in order to track back towards a 1360 and get us away from this bearish pattern that it's kind of forming here. Again, in the short term, needs time. Maybe buy puts under 1210 or look for long entries above that 1325, 1327 area. D-Dog, please, possible gap fill on downside or flag breakout to the upside. So D-Dog, great earnings report. And slowly kind of every dip is kind of getting bought up with the exception of, I guess this is Tuesday. So yesterday, this candle, pretty bullish candle here. This could very easily form a U and kind of take off from here. I don't know if it's really going to fill that gap all the way down. Again, like I'm telling you guys, there's no pattern here, so we can't really guesstimate where this is going to go. All we can do is wait for a setup. If this pushes back above that 130 level, I think this very easily can see 135. However, if it shows weakness, then we kind of have to wait for it to retest that 120 level, form a pattern in order for us to get up and take it higher. For me to tell you, oh, it's going to gap fill, oh, it's going to push, that's just me anticipating, and there's really nothing there, no pattern there for me to tell you which way it's going to go. Currently, this candle right here suggests a move higher, but again, we need confirmation above that 130.30 level to kind of know if it's actually going to continue to go higher or not. Moderna uptrend. It is, and on a daily basis, it is on an uptrend. But you know, when you zoom into the closer time frame, it's getting pretty much walloped the last 2 days. So obviously we hit that 500 level, 498.65. This is why I tell you guys so much. Don't wait at those big round numbers. Don't wait to sell your positions at the 500, 400, 300, right? Now with obviously mRNA, 500 is a huge number, right? Look what happened. We came up to it. You know, people who chased this at 485, 486 level still had an opportunity to sell at 498, right? But it wasn't gonna have the juice to push through that 500 number, that big 500 number. And I always tell you guys, put your targets a little bit below, right? Don't just sit at the whole round numbers, because you're gonna have a hard time selling. And look what happened. As soon as we came up to those levels, bam, sold off. We had dip buyers, sold off. And then what happened? These dip buyers didn't see the push that they wanted, and then more selling pressure came in on top of the news and the shorts, everyone piling in, and we're just taking a beating here, right? And where do we bounce at? That fib level at 422. Slight bounce, complete sell-off, hit that 372 level, and kind of bouncing over here, okay? So in the short term, no, definitely not an uptrend. In the long term, it is still above the 20-day moving average, so maybe possibly form something. But in my experience, when I see stocks that have these two massive red days, the momentum kind of gets killed from them and they kind of start fizzling out. They might pop back up a little bit before rolling over, but the momentum is pretty much shot here, as everyone who continued to chase this on the long side or didn't even take profits on the long side is now selling and in trouble. So it's a little bit concerning here. You definitely have to wait for some sort of a pattern to form itself before you take a trade on mRNA. What is the opinion on WKHS for a swing? Let's take a look at WKHS. So ever since this massive drop, man, this thing has just been struggling. No real direction. Just very choppy, above, below moving averages here. Losing this 1033 level. I'm not sure where I got this line from, but I guess right here, these two touches. Losing that level here. Not much. I don't see a short-term swing in it. I don't see a pattern in it. Under moving averages. You have resistance overhead. You have a shit ton of bag holders. Let me zoom out so you can kind of see. Look at this. We went from $42 all the way down to sitting at around $9. And I know a lot of people that didn't have an opportunity to exit their positions up here because this pull was so drastic and so significant. A lot of people weren't even watching the market when this kind of took place and fell significantly. So lots of bag holders still stuck in this under an area where, you know, if it doesn't reclaim that 1033 area, we can very easily come back down to the $8-7 area. So in the short term, I definitely don't see a trade in this. And there's nothing to signify otherwise. Candles are very nice and tight. Not nice and tight, but candles are tight. So not so much volume or momentum in them, and not really anything there. New CEO promising future. Again, I didn't even know about that new CEO. Just because a CEO has changed doesn't mean that anything is going to change. The reason for this massive drop was because I think they lost the contract to the U.S. government. So it doesn't matter what CEO you bring. If you lost that contract, unless you get that contract back, then it's going to have a very slow track back to highs to accommodate for that big revenue that they just lost. What about NEO? NEO, again, something that I've been holding long term, something that I added at 34, something that I'm monitoring. Pretty good earnings this last night, still looking pretty good. Really want this to get back above the 46-47 area to push it towards that 50. We had a nice run to 55, but then market kind of pulled it back here, right? Again, short term needs to clear that 46.50 area to push towards that 50. Long term 43, maybe you can start a position here with room to add towards that 38-34 area if we do come back to it. But again, a name that's getting kind of choppy as well. Moving averages are tightening up here, so hopefully, ideally, with a pretty good earnings report, we see this pop back up above that 46.50 level and continue to see this thing go higher here. Piton, man, this is another name that just struggling here. Okay, let's see what happened to my chart. All right, Piton. So again, hitting this top resistance at 125, rejecting, hitting it, rejecting. Ideally, you want this back above that 146.68 level. Maybe you can track this back up to 125. What I don't like, again, is that we are below all moving averages here, okay? One thing to keep in mind, under that 111.30, we'll open it up towards that 108, and then ideally back to the 101. However, if it can retrack back to the 120, maybe it pushes through this moving average again, the 200 moving average, to the 1125. Again, very choppy, very up and down. Candles are not very decisive candles, and just going sideways with lots of moving averages above it. And again, another stock with lots of people bag holding and just selling at every pops. That's why we're not getting those fluid moves. The only fluid move on Piton really was back here in May, where we broke above that 114.68 level, and we got a nice push towards these past highs here of 125 area, 126 area, right? That was the only cleared move on it. Other than that, stuck back in the chop. Not something I would trade. I don't have a clear, defined pattern, and don't want to get stuck in chop. So I talked about mRNA. I talked about NEO. At what price will Apple break the pennants to the downside? 148 is bullish. What is bearish? What is bearish? Bearish would ideally be 144. If we break under 144, we've lost the moving average. We've lost this 144.34 support. And that's when it can really roll over and come towards the 138, right? I'm here just silently listening. Awesome, my man. So much info. Thanks, sir. You're the best. No problem. Plug and BLNK. All right, guys. If you guys are still around, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button. There's about 40 of you here and only 10 likes. So go ahead and smash that like button. I do go live every Thursday. And let's take a look at Plug. Plug. So Plug, BLNK, these were all names that ran significantly back in January, February. So lots of bag holders still in these names. And again, I don't like messing with them solely because of that reason. Plug needs to clear 30.44 in order for it to have some sort of an area where it can try to fluidly move through, right? Other than that, we can very well roll back to the 24.04. I want to see this over 30.44 for me to even take a look at it, to be considering it on the short side. I mean, considering it in the short term. BLNK, you know, over that 37 area was an area where it really should have took this and took it off towards that at least 39, 40 level. Had earnings, I believe, yesterday. Haven't looked at it. Don't know what the earnings report is. But if we can maintain above that 37 level, possibly we can see a move backtrack to this 41.95 level. All right, but we need to get back above the 47. Otherwise, we roll over, test that 31.99, and then come down towards this 29.30. Okay, so if you're looking to trade this on the long side, make sure you get above that 37 area. Have a candle that closes above it, or look to go long at the breakout of 37.43, which will kind of open you up to at least 39, and then you can establish and reassess then what you want to do. Do you want to sell your position or hold towards that 41.94 area? All right, guys. So that's it for today. I hope you guys did appreciate this live. Again, remember, every Thursday I do go live at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Go ahead and join us every Thursday. Ask your questions, and we'll go over everything as well. All right, guys. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and I will catch you guys all next week on Thursday. Make sure you trade safe, respect your stops, and come out green today, guys. All right. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.